Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. Yes, this is the post-match mortem. I'm joined by Bathtime. I'm joined by Dora. Welcome back, Dora. I'm joined by Rebel, and we're going in. We're going to talk about this crazy game of football and whatever went down in Galatasaray in Istanbul tonight. We're going to try and digest it. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. First of all, just want to give you guys opportunity to just talk about your day, how things going apart from the football. We'll start with you, Rebel, because you were sitting in the background. I don't know what you're up to. You look like you're selling insurance, as Bartha was saying, but yeah.
Amondi, I've been trying to contact you about your long-term car insurance warranty.
Yes, indeed. I'm covered, thanks. I'm covered.
But,
you know who needs insurance? Onana.
Man United.
Yeah.
I tell you what, my day was going fine until the football started. I was looking forward to my spaghetti bolognese, and all it tasted of was resentment and disappointment after the match.
Massive. Did everyone, Dora, were you able to, I know you're an hour ahead of us, but were you able to get home from work and get to watch the game in time? Because it was half, quarter to five kickoff or some quarter.
Yeah. I managed it, and, I kind of regret it, but it is what it is. I've been, sick for the past week or so, and, I finally got better in the last few days, and, I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk about United again, watch United, and yeah. I think I now have indigestion or stomach problems because or heartburn. How do you guys heartburn or something? Because, whenever I'm really stressed out, everything goes to my stomach and, indigestion and all that. So yeah, it's Man United, folks. So yeah, but overall, to be serious, I've been great. So thank you for asking.
Well, welcome back. It's good to see you on board again.
Thank you.
You're talking about your gut. I've heard recently that your gut is your sixth sense. You should trust your gut.
Yeah.
And we're using terminology, and I'm going to go over to the scientist, which is bath time. Can you back me up on that? Is your gut really a sixth sense? Should you really trust your gut? Is that where all disease comes from? Your gut? Where are you at with gut instincts and gut feelings?
I'm on day. I don't even know if you've got the other five senses. If you're saying that your gut is a sixth sense, you do have a brain inside of your stomach, though, or something sort of near it. But if you're talking about gut instinct is probably a combination of various sort of like subconscious processes mixed with a bit of experience. So when you, for example, when you watch a football match, sometimes you just sense there's danger, and it's a combination of your previous experience, not your stomach. I love the fact that you're giving your stomach like more sort of cognitive processing power than your brain. Like I think that's an extraordinary way to look at the world.
I think it's true. I've been reading.
I know you do.
Recently. Yeah, I think I've always wanted to speak to you about this, because I think your gut, when they say gut instinct, so it's just a saying, isn't it? But apparently your gut is a sense, and a gut is more important than your brain. A lot of issues stem from your gut, like parasites and all that kind of thing. So whenever you're sick or stressed or worried, you get a gut feeling, or you get nervous, you get butterflies. There's a lot of things that I didn't really understand about it before, and I'm starting to pay more attention to my gut. As you can see, it's growing in size with my older age. Yeah. So
can we talk about football instead of you thinking?
Yeah, just to say as well, while we're watching football matches, they should do horror movie moments when Galatasaray are on the attack. We should re-edit the game and put like Jaws music or something like that. Theme of Jaws when they're attacking us. Big up to everyone in the comments. We've got Big T. He said De Gea qualified for us for the Champions League, and Onana's dumped us out. That's on the manager. So already pointing fingers. Damien Walsh, how you doing? Welcome back. He says Onana was shocking. Poor, gifted them 2 goals, maybe 3. Hey, that's from Mr. B. I hope you guys watched the live watch along. Mr. B, he was up, down, all over the place, wasn't he? With the goals and reaction there. Brilliant, Mr. B. Well done. And Man United equals weak mentality, or mentality weak. That's from Rajat. Wow. There's so much. I mean, I usually take notes, but there's no need to take notes with this game. It was absolutely action-packed. I'd just say round of applause for a spectacle of a football match. It had everything. Where do we start? Let's talk about the lineup, guys, because obviously we done the solo 11 yesterday, and Rebel, I think we were trying to work out what would be the best starting lineup. We didn't get it right, but the starting lineup. We started with Onana in goal. Bit of surprise, Wan-Bissaka came back in. Do you think that's to do with Saha coming up against Saha? Because obviously they used to be teammates.
Well, historically speaking, Zaha has been pocketed by Wan-Bissaka, so I'd imagine the idea was that he was to null his influence, and he probably did it to good effect, because it was when Dallo went off is when Zaha started to come alive. So I don't think there's any complaints with Wan-Bissaka coming in there, because he'd done a job against the player in the past. Centre backs, he's clearly dumped Varane. He's out of favour because he can't get a game edgeways at this stage. So it wasn't a surprise that Lindelof and Maguire started there. And it was probably always going to be Shaw, who's our best left back, to coming in the other side. So I think it kind of spoke for itself, really, that back line.
And in midfield, we were a bit surprised by his story. We've been like bigging up young Kobe Mainoo. You saw his performance against Everton, but he didn't start today. He started with Amrabat and McTominay and Bruno midfield. What do you think? Is that to do with more experience in this sort of moment in a big game like this, to start with Amrabat over the young man?
Unfortunately, I haven't watched the Everton game because I wasn't at home, hence why I couldn't come on and all that. But I watched his highlights, I watched his touches and all that, and Kobe is already showing his maturity and his technique and intelligence in how to play as a defensive midfielder. I actually agree with Ten Hag here because before the game, an hour before the game in Istanbul was pouring rain. The pitch, or the Galatasaray pitch, was like a pool, and since Kobe Mainoo he just came back from the injury, I think it was too risky to put him also in a hostile environment. I think that yes, we are all for putting everyone, throwing everyone in the fire and all that, but as we saw later, he was solid, but he, for that third goal, he was kind of insecure and all that, and it was, in my opinion, it was good to put more experienced players in the midfield, and I don't know if it necessarily worked out that well, but at that moment in time, I thought that was a good decision.
Cool. You know what, Bath time. A couple of things I'm going to read out before coming to you. Why did you take Garnacho off? That's from Damien Walsh. Playing Lindelof and Amrabat. Give me a break. It's like Ten Hag wants to get fired. That's from JR. Bath time will know more about we sucked in transitions, which is what Ten Hag claims to be specialised in. That's his observation of the game from Big T. Wildlife Machine saying Onana couldn't keep a secret, much less keeping out goals. He cost us the game as well. So just touch on this one about because obviously we started with. We thought Martial might start after his performance the other day. We started with Holland up front. And Anthony, we were right about that, even though we weren't, you made a quote yesterday, Bath time, saying that our good form has come since Anthony's been out the side. But obviously with Rashford missing, he had to come in tonight, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, what are you asking me here?
Yeah, I'm just talking about we're talking about the lineup and why he selected certain players. So with Anthony, he had to start clearly, and Bath and Big T saying here, talking about transitions. So if you want to sort of branch off into that as well.
Okay. So you have this thing called the resting defence with the transition, which most of you will probably recognise from Manchester City, where they will play three centre-backs and John Stones will invert next to Rodri. The three of the players, which are Diaz, Stones and Rodri, protect the centre of the pitch, and the two wider players, say it's Akanji and Ake, they're tasked with dealing with players out wide. Manchester United basically don't play a rest defence at all. A lot of people sort of get a bit annoyed with me when I talk about we need like a left back that can invert or a right back that can invert, and this is why I wanted Pogba to play there. And I'm now beginning to wonder if Mainu is if he should be playing at right back, to be honest, because there's not there's not enough protection in the centre of the pitch. Like when you look at Bruno and McTominay's positions as sort of 3/8s, they're too far up the pitch to leave just one person in the centre of the pitch. And tonight, even though like Galatasaray's tactics weren't working particularly good, there was a consistent pattern of what they were doing, which was Zaha was stationing extreme width, and that was pulling Wan-Bissaka well out of position. He wasn't central enough. He was going into wide areas. Then I think it might have been Torreira or the other one. They had 2 3/8s. One of them was constantly running the channel and taking Amrabat out of the centre of the pitch, and McTominay and Bruno were too far forward. So I think it was Torreira was constantly in space with time, and it's a problem with the tactical setup. You can't play McTominay and Bruno like this if you don't have someone next to Amrabat or someone next to Kobe, and that's essentially what a rest defence is about. So I hope that answers your question, Big T.
Okay, yeah, definitely. You know what? That's the lineup. He started with what he started with, and then we had a great start to the game. After 11 minutes, we scored a goal, and it was kind of on a transition, wasn't it? Rebel, what's your thoughts on the first goal? Because it started down the right, played into Haaland, and Haaland done the business, hold up his man, and played in Bruno, who in turn set up the little young man.
Well, I don't know if you recall, but Anthony actually was in possession of that football prior to the moves taking place, and he nearly went down a cul-de-sac. And you know there was a bit of delay between the ball being coming across, and I think actually, if I remember correctly, that Bruno actually got a shout across him to move the ball. So it was almost a goal that wasn't if we didn't get it moving. When we did, I think Garnacho did very well to finish the ball and put it in the back of the net. But we gave ourselves every chance of being comfortable in this game, starting well, having that goal early, and we should have finished it off, but we didn't. But I think you have to credit the finishing of Garnacho. He's definitely looking to build a run of goals, but there's no point in scoring on one end if you're going to start throwing them away on the other.
Dora, what do you think about the finish? I mean, with his left foot, top bins, cool and calm. He's on fire. Do you think that's from the confidence, from the overhead and all the hype he's been getting lately to finish like that? Because usually things like that go over the bar or is it tight angle and with his weaker foot.
Yeah, I think he's our only, outfield or, attacking player who actually, does this. Maybe Bruno as well, but, he does this consistently. He's not afraid to shoot. And as we saw in the second half, later we will talk about it more, some people are afraid to shoot on time. He does this immediately, and I appreciate it. And I don't know, maybe Manchester United subscribe to the notion that they are going to score bangers, and I think the only trophy this season is that Manchester United is going to get is the goal of the season, because I don't know, we are not winning anything besides that trophy. But all jokes aside, I think it was an amazing finish. He cleaned up that web from Muslera's corner. And yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. I want him to start every game. I don't care. When he's on form and he's that confident, you cannot waste it on anyone else. Just start him all the time.
Wow. Big. So Sancho, not even in the question. Rashford could be getting edged out as well for this young man. You're just touch on the goal there, bath time, because we're going to go on to Bruno's goal as well. But anything you want to add to that finish and the move? Because I thought that was a beautiful goal.
It was a good goal, and this is where my sort of like my dilemma is coming in, because a bit like Martial's goal at the weekend, and I don't know, like I was chatting to Stora about this earlier. I don't know if you've noticed, but we started scoring a lot of goals from the right-hand side now, or at least creating them from the right-hand side. A lot of that is to do with McTominay running the channel. Like Rebel was saying that, like sort of Anthony dilly-dallied a bit on the ball there before shifting it quickly. He had that time and space because McTominay ran the channel, and then he has like Wan-Bissaka outside him. So it's no coincidence to me that Anthony's best game in a United shirt, which I think was tonight, has come when there's someone running the channel. But the problem is there's not enough protection when McTominay is running the channel, because there's not enough men in the center of the pitch. So it's a great goal, and it shows the principles that Ten Hag is trying to do of like creating overloads on one side of the pitch and then scoring on the other, which is something that we rarely do, and it's really good to see that. That's a really promising sign. But it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, because you're cutting your nose off to spite your face when you're not protecting yourself with like a rest defense. So I'm quite conflicted about that goal, because it's a really good goal with lots of nice tactical things, lots of great movement, unlocks Anthony, but it also leaves us unprotected. So I don't know, Omondi, what do you think about that?
I thought it was a great goal. I really enjoyed it. Look, the whole game, we scored some really good goals, and to be able to be calm under fire, because when you hear so many whistles, it's so distracting. You think, oh, what, they called for a free kick or something? But it's the crowd constantly. The noise was immense, and for us to break like that calmly, pop it around, play it into what I was happy about was we played it into the big man up front. He held it up, popped it off again for Bruno, who actually played in Garnacho, and it was just simple, makes things look easy. And when you can say to yourself, you do these moves in training, you make it look easy, and you say to yourself, well, every attack should be the same. We should be able to open them up as easy as that every single attack, like a hot knife through butter, just popping the ball around, playing it into space. But that didn't happen. This is the frustrations that you have. So to see it come off early in the game, I'm thinking, yeah, wonderful. And big up to Garnacho for shooting with his left foot as well. I'm really pleased with that goal. Really pleased with that. I should have screamed really loud. The dogs were barking. I was like, yes, this is, relief, because it was so tense, wasn't it? The atmosphere was amazing. Big up to Galatasaray in this game.
Do you think it was that intimidating, the atmosphere? I mean,
come on, bath time.
Bro, listen, when we went to Welcome to Hell 25 years ago or whatever, they had like burning Ford Fiestas in the crowd and stuff. Like, here they're just whistling. That's just a normal match for Maguire. Like, I don't think that atmosphere was anywhere near as intimidating as I thought it was going to be. It was just a bit noisy.
So, all right, Rebel, you know how dodgy our players have been and how fragile they've been. When you're on the ball and you're getting whistled at and they're putting you under pressure, that isn't that enough to sort of make you shirk a little bit? You're going to get anxiety attack, aren't you? Because you're going to think, oh my God, the whole crowd are baying for me to fail here.
No, I have to agree with Bath Time in a lot of respects, because it was a good home atmosphere. They were loud, they were making themselves known, and they were being heard and picked up by all the mics around the ground. But when Garnacho scored his goal, the Viva Garnacho chant was quite audible, and you could clearly hear through the TV. So I don't agree with it being anything over the top. It was a great away atmosphere, or home atmosphere, to walk into as an away team, and it's obviously going to make you focus. But we silenced it when we got the first goal, and our slide started after that.
No, hold on a minute. We scored after 11 minutes. The slide didn't start then. After 18 minutes, we're 2-0 up. Bruno, they backed off him, and he shot like his name was Bath Time in the League or something. What a performance by Bruno coming up to that 18th minute. What a goal, by the way. Top bins. I mean, Dara, tell me you didn't scream and shout and dance around your living room.
Of course I did. It was a banger once again. Almost in the corner of Muslera''s goal. A bit more towards the middle, but once again, great strike. It reminded me of 2020 Bruno when he came in, and I wish that he does it a bit more. But yeah, great goal. I don't have anything else smart to say. I just want to add on that, he needs to do it better. Not better. Oh my God, you cannot do it better. He needs to do it more.
Okay. Well, we're 2-0 up, guys. Let's just stop right there. Time stops still. What do you do in this situation? Because we haven't held on to a lead very well all season. And once again, we did collapse. But being 2-0 up, you're the manager. It's only 18 minutes gone. and you're thinking, what? You know, this is good. This is everything I've desired from this team. But could the manager have done anything there for halftime at that point, 2-0 up, change something slightly tactically just to make us more secure? For example, you talk about rest event. What would you have done if you were in Ten Hag's shoes there and then after being 2-0 up and being in a comfortable position? Should he have made any sort of adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that there's three things that you can do. The first thing is go for the goal to kill the game before halftime, which is what we did. The second is to sit deep and look to hit on the counter.
Yeah.
And the third is to get wide and look after the ball and move it around the pitch, make them run more, and drain them. I think that I would have gone for the third option, which would be to just move the ball about, still stay high, and still look for a goal, but just to play a bit cautiously and just try and move that block about, get them all running, get the crowd a bit annoyed and stuff like that. But I mean, so like when you 2-0 is a difficult lead to defend, everyone knows, because the other team is going to come out onto you. But I wouldn't have at that stage in a hostile, even though I don't think it was that hostile, but in a hostile away game. It was not hostile.
It was hostile, man. It was fine. Did you not see the big sign, "Welcome to hell"? I mean, imagine you're walking out like, oh my gosh, this is serious.
What a sign! Like, there's a sign that says "Welcome to hell," and you're like,
Yes.
"Oh God, no!" Like, I've forgotten how to play football anymore. I understand that these guys were motivated by a bedsheet, but "Welcome to hell" is not an intimidating thing. Like 30 years ago, when like half the stand was on fire, maybe. But just a couple of people whistling and they're holding a sign up at you. Come on. But anyway, I think that we knew that they were going to come at us, and that we should have got into a structure that always allowed an easy pass, maybe use the goalkeeper a bit more, but not get sucked into a game with transitions, because that's the weakest part of our game, like structurally at the moment, and that's exactly what we did. And the free kick came from a transition.
But we were breaking for the free kick. I think McTominay had the opportunity to play in Bruno, and he didn't do it, and he crossed instead. And obviously Bruno, after running hard to get forward, he had to run hard to get back, and he gave away a free kick, which seemed in a decent area, manageable area, but we know what happened next.
Yeah, I think as Bathtim said, you're 2-0 up. The atmosphere doesn't really matter anymore. You're in control of the game, or you should be in control of the game. I think the bigger stat actually that should have been taken note of is the fact that only Munich and Besiktas have won there in the last 22 games. There's only two teams that have won at that ground. But in terms of the free kick, I think Bruno would be disappointed to give it away. It was a bit clumsy on Bruno's behalf. He did clip him as a free kick. But I think what we're more disappointed with is it looked more like a daisy cutter, didn't it? That kind of trickled into the corner of Onana's goal. And I'm not sure were we organised sufficiently, because should somebody have been covering that area and saying, right, Onana, you have to cover this part, and we'll make sure that if there's any freaky kind of deflection or whatever, we have it covered. But I think that's a goal that, defensively speaking, we'd have been very disappointed to give away.
Okay, I'm going to go through a few comments, because we've obviously got to bring these guys in. They've got a lot to say for themselves, and we're talking about the goal now. We can see them. And we've got one here, Onana Grobler. We also had one, Onana Tahibi as well. I think maybe Box is responsible for that one as well. Good evening to Eddie Football Waffle. Go and subscribe to his channel. Said good evening, good open game of football. Garnacho on confidence levels. Onana was good lately, but back to Tahibi settings tonight. That's why. Big T saying, let's talk captain, fantastic, giving away 2 goals, but you're saying you can't say but he got a goal, and so he's obviously running him about that as well. Big T is also saying assist. That's like saying, I know a boxer got knocked out, but he did punch his opponent first. Okay, we'll see where we're going. Want to say hi to Dooms Booms. What a name. Big up though, welcome to the channel. He said Mainu has been a light at the end of the tunnel. He comes and makes the game his own. Minimal mistakes, calm, composed, and he's just 18. We're going to come on to him because I totally agree with what you're saying there. Rajiji saying, what a poor result tonight, knowing we need at least a win. Looks like the lads are back. I said it yesterday, and Man United coaches are not good enough as well. Big T saying McTominay once again showed his attacking skills. He ain't a midfielder. He can't defend or hold at the midfield position as well. I want to say hi to Jeff. He's in the house. He said Fabian Onana. It's a running theme now, all naming goalkeepers who are sort of full of calamity. What about David James as well? He was called Calamity James. Hopefully you don't get a name for that, like for Onana. Vincent, how you doing? He says all three of our goals were very good but terrible. Eric needs to drop him. We got to have a good goal. He's sitting on the bench. It should have been given a chance. He should be given a chance after tonight's game. He should be. Mr. Watchalong, Mr. B, unless we start controlling midfield, we are FUCK'd. Big up to Tyrone Williams. He said, evening, I'm gutted about tonight. You gutted. We're talking about guts, aren't we? Don't think Onana will succeed at Man United. He's not good enough as shot stopper. I thought this before we even signed him as well. So people are talking Onana. We will come on to him. Rebel had more intimidating atmospheres in Dublin pubs.
It's true. All Ireland final weekends against the Dubs. No, that's intimidating.
That is funny. I've been to Dublin and I was embraced. I didn't feel any kind of intimidation. Bruno had his moments. He always has done, but that's all he wanted. All he needs to play is 90 minutes as a player. So it's up and down with him. Reggie say, did you know 3 of our coaches worked at Blackburn and Eric Ten Hag keeps them? Eric Ten Hag needs the best-in-class coaches to make the best-in-class players. Galatasaray make it very tough. They certainly did. Big Mr. B saying no amount of coaching is going to help Onana. Okay, why are we defending the 3-1 lead? Okay, here we go. Rashford cost us. There's a lot of pointing fingers. Tyrone Williams saying Eric Ten Hag should have started mainly from the beginning. Yes, he's 18, but he does a job better than the likes of Amrabat, whose loan shouldn't be made permanent. You see where they're going here. Do you want to shout out Box again? This is it's a tame atmosphere. The Ultras had to tell all the fans, don't go on your phones during the match. I thought that was to do with, they said before the game, don't bring your phones. I thought that was to say, we're going to do something to the Man United fans, so don't bring phones as evidence. That's what my head was thinking at the time when I heard that. This buddy's chatting breeze. If you have not been in that environment, you wouldn't know. That's from Dooms Booms.
I've been in intimidating environments, and I don't think that's an intimidating environment. It shouldn't be upsetting the players. It's just whistles and noise. Like an intimidating environment is like where you're getting pigs' heads thrown at you, or they're like setting fireworks off. I mean, there was a bit of lightning, which one of the commentators said put Martial off for a chance, which is a new one. I'm not familiar with the game. Okay, all right, let's move on.
Okay, all right, well, there you go. So there's opposing views there. Look, let's get on with this goal. So the free kick was set up. We know how it came, but they had a wall of 4, then you had 2 Galatasaray players, and then you had Bruno beside them. So naturally, the 2 Galatasaray players is the gap that you want to hit the free kick, I'm sure. What could we have done to avoid that?
Well, first of all, we could have, fired Eric Ramsey together with Ole when we did. He should have been out of this club the moment Ole went out, because he's been an absolute calamity in the last few years.
Just to clarify, Eric, he's the set piece coach, right?
He's a set piece coach. He's supposed to make us defend better set pieces and, make us score more goals from free kicks, corners, and other breaks, I would say, in the play. He's been absolutely atrocious. When it comes to this game, I would just say that, first of all, I don't think that, as you mentioned, OMONDI, I don't think that, the goalkeeper and the players, set the wall properly. And once again, and the third, thing in this goal, it was Onana's positioning on the goal was absolutely horrendous, in my opinion. People are saying he's been intimidated. This guy has been in the elite tier of football for years. He's been playing for Inter Milan, Champions League, even with Ajax. He's been all over Europe. He experienced, hostile atmospheres, hostile grounds. Trust me, this isn't about, whistles or all that. He's just insecure, and he doesn't have, how do we say, he doesn't have goalkeeper fundamentals. I don't even know what to say to you. Like, people wanted the guy gone. That's absolutely valid. He's not a modern goalkeeper, but at least he was a goalkeeper. He saved goals. This guy cannot do even that. So is it his insecurity? Is it his lack of confidence? Like, he needs to talk to sporting therapists, psychologists, or whatever to fix up or get benched.
We've got one at the club.
I mean, I don't know what to say anymore. Like, do we bench him and put the Turkish guy on the goal? Because trust me, I don't have faith in that Turkish guy. I would rather play Tom Heaton in front of him, if I'm being completely honest with you at this moment in time. Like Galatasaray, he was a second goalkeeper there. He wasn't even good at Galatasaray. I forgot his name. The Turkish goalkeeper that we bought in. He's not even that good. Sorry, can you say? Binder. So what are we going to do? Like, he's not confident. He doesn't position well. Even that disallowed goal against the Cardi, offside goal. Yeah. He wasn't even positioned well there as a goalkeeper, 1-on-1. He just threw himself out there. So what is going on? Like, last few weeks he was solid. Against Copenhagen, he saved us. Against Everton, apparently he was good. I mean, I saw his saves. He was good. So what is are we going to bench him and put the young Turkish lad who, in my opinion, isn't good enough to play for Manchester United? So who are we going to play? I'm so baffled by this. This goal was an absolute calamity, not just from Onana, but from the coaches as well. Eric Ramsey needs to be sacked. He's stealing a living. He didn't improve the team.
Hold on a minute. Isn't the goalkeeper supposed to set up the wall?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He is supposed to communicate with the defenders. Look, guys, you need to protect my first post.
Yeah.
And I need to position myself on the second post. So I protect that. But of course, he's standing behind the wall. What are they doing? He's standing in the middle of the goal. He needs to be more on the right. And when Ziyech is, Omondi, when Ziyech is, trying to score, above the wall, he needs to save it, or, whatever. Like, if he scores, he scores. He's a worldie. But what are they doing collectively? Like Onana, like, what is going on in your head? He's not positional. He didn't set up a ball good. Ziyech strike the ball in the middle of the goal, and he scored. And my commentator, Croatian commentator, by the way, just said a second before he scored that free kick, Galatasaray haven't scored a free kick this season, and they scored. And they score. And oh my God, Hakim Ziyech is having a game of his life. He had the 2 easiest goal in his life. That's not his best game of his life. This is the easiest goals that he scored, because our goalkeeper is in a no man's land. He's on Mars. I don't know where he is.
Let's talk Onana then, because Dora's going in. Eddie's saying here, I rate Onana, but Dora is right about some of Onana's fundamentals. He sometimes makes saves like he's playing volleyball. Rebel,
I'm so rattled. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, just one quick one, because Dora rightly mentioned the VAR and the offside goal. Can I just say how refreshing it was for a VAR decision to be done nearly seamlessly and fast, rather than spending half an hour drawing lines at 100x zoom? I just wanted to kind of mention that. But Dora's quite right. I'm actually starting to wonder, is this Ramsey character working from home and sending in pigeons to direct the strategy? Because there was none there. She kind of said it herself. And even in the second goal, just to kind of go on the same team, we saw Anthony Martial ducking. Is Ramsey instructing his players to get out of the way and let the ball come to the keeper? Because I'd imagine you'd have been telling your defender or your player to put your body on the line. If you're going to take the ball in the gulas, take it, because you're stopping the goal chance. If you're going to take it in the head, take that smash, because you need to be stopping the ball from coming through and possibly creating a problem. And it did, because Onana then had to see the ball coming after Martial, ducked, and it went behind him and into the net. So you have to be wondering, maybe this guy's sending carrier pigeons into the training ground with the instructions for the tactics.
Oh dear. Bath time. Well, come on, man. Are you gonna back Onana? Are you gonna see, can you defend anything that happened that free kick and the other goals as well with Onana? Because I want to go into.
Well, when I was younger, Monday, I used to play a game called NBA Jam, and it was like this little sort of 8-bit game, and the animations they had for a slam dunk are very, very similar to how Onana sort of comes out clawing at things. His technique is, I don't know a lot about goalkeeping, but his technique is dreadful. And I do think that Dora and Rebel been a bit unfair on Aaron Ramsey here, because there are some basic mistakes.
Aaron Ramsey?
Well, whoever he is, Colin. What's his name? Ramsey. Eric Ramsey. Because, I mean, first of all, the first free kick, we concede that because the structure's not good enough and Amrabat is out of position. So Bruno has to cover that space. There is sort of cover on the left-hand side, but I think Bruno definitely has to make a challenge. But then, as you rightly said, when you've got two players blocking the view, Bruno's got to go and stand in between them and sort of try and tickle them and pinch them and hold them together. He's got to glue them, basically. And Onana, because Ziyech is a good set-piece specialist, he does what all these keepers do that always gets them in trouble, where he gambles, takes a step to his left. And then, Bruno doesn't block the ball correctly. It goes down the middle, and it's rubbish. But I primarily think that the blame is on Bruno and Onana in that situation instead of the one. And then Rebel talked about Anthony Martial ducking. I would think that from the coaching that I've received, that Martial would have did the right thing there, because it's going straight at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's got the time to see it. You don't want to be sticking your leg out like we saw, or you don't want to be sticking parts of your body out to make the deflection. Last night against Newcastle, I saw Trippier pulling out of something that you would probably expect a defender to throw your leg at, but he would have scored an own goal if he did it. The keeping on the second goal is something that kind of I don't know where I stand with Onana, because he's done all right a couple of times, but there's been huge risks. And then secondly, his distribution, in first phase play, is absolutely fine, but in second phase play, this constant long ball to Garnacho, it doesn't work, and it puts us under pressure, and I don't like it. And I think that with the standards that you expect from Manchester United, he has to be dropped, because he's conceded something like 14 goals in the Champions League and 30 in the Premier League. Yeah. And that not all of that has been the fault of Delo and Maguire and the lads. There's been huge risks there. I mean, I think, to be honest, with De Gea, we could have topped this group. You think about the mistakes against Bayern Munich, in particular, letting in those two easy shots. Onana's really cost us in the Champions League, and I don't think that he deserves to play in the next match.
Wow, it's kind of harsh. I just want to say this before I go into comments. I think Onana is responsible for all 3 goals. We'll talk about the third goal later on, but we deserve better saying here. How often did De Gea get beat at the near post and far post? Often, I recall, even when he won Golden Glove last season. Because Eddie's, backing you, Dora, talking about the fundamentals of wrong with our goalkeeper, as we saw today. We deserve better, again, saying, Ziyech's 2 free kicks were pitiful, says Box. So they weren't exactly like worldies, were they? Big T saying, let's talk Onana doing his anti-impression on halfway line when he dropped his shoulder and cut that forward in half. That was nice.
Yeah.
Big up to Colm. How you doing, Colm? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Colm's also a goalkeeper coach. He's saying we've conceded 14 goals in our group stages. That's a new record. Onana is a fraud of a goalkeeper, and he would know because he's a coach. Sunday League level free kicks from Box. AFCON's coming up, so that's from Jeff. So hopefully Jeff will see Onana go into the African nations. What ball we dropped, letting Kovar go. Obviously, he's a young goalkeeper for us as well. We deserve better, saying these fan bases answer to everything is drop them. It does seem that way, especially with Onana now. NBA Jam, what a game. Yeah, I did play that myself. I do remember those dunks. Looking back at them now, they look terrible. But back in the day, it was like, wow. Big up to Harry David. Or was it David Harry? He's saying here, and by the way, welcome. He's saying Onana doesn't need dropping. He had a bad night. He makes too many mistakes so far this season. But overall, he's an upgrade on De Gea, and I back him.
Sorry, Monday, just briefly, I'm actually watching back the second goal, and it actually looks like the ball glanced off Martial's head.
It didn't. Watch it again.
Okay. Patrick, how you doing, Patrick? He's saying, I'm still curious about Onana. Last season, most clean sheets in the Champions League for Inter. This season, 14 goals conceded in 5 games. What can we put this down to? The keeper or the defence? Or like Dora saying, Eric Ramsey, because it was 2 set pieces, wasn't there? De Gea was beat at the near post most frequently. So there's a lot of people backing Onana here, especially we deserve better. Got to go. Good night. Got to go to bed. He's got work in the morning. That's Eddie. Big up to everyone as usual. Let's see if United keep kicking on in the league. Yeah, so we got to go for right now. So good night. God bless, man. Damien Walsh is saying here, I think United can beat Bayern if there's no goalkeeping mistakes, but won't be enough to stay in the Champions League. I feel Copenhagen will win the last match at home as well. All right, let's get on. So we got in at half time with 2-1 up. What's the manager going to say, Dora, being 2-1 up? Obviously, we needed to win today. That was the most important thing. But when you got a secure lead like 2-0 and you can see the sort of dodgy free kick, surely you could be saying, well done, lads. You're doing all right. And go out there and just keep it tight.
To be quite honest with you, Omondi, I don't think we controlled that game a lot. I think that we had some good attacking patterns in phases, but I don't think we controlled the game fully. I think the Galatasaray was, or they were, on the front foot a lot. And I think in the second half that kind of got even, more emphasized. I don't know. I think Ten Hag probably needed to change something because that midfield, once again, as BATHTIME is becoming my parrot because he's been repeating the same thing every single stream that we lack a man or a player in that midfield, and that the 2 number 8s are too further up, and that one player cannot defend everything. And I absolutely agree. I've been convinced. I've been watching that, and since that first Wolves game, that has been an issue. And in the second half, Galatasaray, it looked like they are on the front foot once again. They started attacking us more. I think that we had some good chances as well, but I think they were more in control. About what Ten Hag should have said or said in the halftime, God knows what, because I didn't feel that he kicked them up their ass because I would. And unfortunately, I didn't see it. I don't know if maybe he did. Maybe he told them, you know what, go out there, maybe he yelled at them, or we don't know what is happening behind the closed doors. But to me...
Dora, but we scored after 55 minutes. We scored, but Tommy, what a goal that was as well.
Yes, but that is, we did it in the first half as well. We had some good attacking pattern of plays. That's what McTominay was doing the whole game. I mean, me and BATHTIME were talking about it a bit. Like, he's been doing it consistently, especially since he got into form and since he started, starting these games for us. He's been doing it. But, I mean, that defense, our defensive phase in the team is absolutely dreadful. I haven't seen more disjointed defense as a collective in my life of watching Manchester United. And I've seen Michael Carrick in the defense. I've seen Marcos Rojo in the defense. I've seen some calamities in the defense in this team. And, Johnny Evans at the beginning of his career, he was absolutely atrocious, him, Smalling, and the other guys. But this group of players are not good enough in defensively. Even the midfield, people are saying, oh, when we pulled out, Amrabat of the pitch, we kind of lost the control in the midfield, But he's been gassed. He hasn't been good, especially on the ball. And that's his, quote unquote, that's his job. He needs to be on the ball. And he wasn't good at it. He wasn't even good defensively, because if Icardi is dragging off Maguire and, I forgot his name. The other guy on the Ziyech is dragging off, or Luke Shaw, or Lindelof, or on the other side you have players dragging. Zaha is dragging off, Wan-Bissaka or someone else. We are having holes. No one is covering for other guys because our two midfielders are up on the pitch and they are sprinting back and falling into dangerous areas. So it's never going to be good with this group of players. I don't think that's even. I don't know what to say, Omondi, to you. Like, I'm not even sure they're coachable. I'm so baffled by this. Yes, bad time.
Dora, like, is that the players or is that the system?
I think it's both, because like you can blame the player. Like, I'm always on players' backs. I since European League final, I've been on these players' backs for the mentality and everything else that happened after it. I was on their backs since then, even before. But I think the manager needs to change something. As you said, we are lacking one man in that midfield. It's not working. Why are we playing solely that defensive midfield? It doesn't work. I love Kobe Mino. I think he's going to be a great servant to this club. He's going to be a great player. But this guy played under 19s 2 weeks ago, and we are putting all our faith that this guy is going to fix everything. We are not going to fix anything if he's, once again, left on the island by himself. He needs someone to help him. But so, yes, it's a system as well. But it's,
Dora, I'll give you an example, right? You said, like, we had Varane, Martinez, and Casemiro against Wolves. Exactly the same problems. Like, whoever we've stuck in that defense this season, we've had exactly the same problems with being unable to defend transitions and too little people in the midfield. Like, it's a tactical thing to have Bruno McTominay that far up the pitch. But are you saying that the entire, like, all of the defenders at Manchester United are not good enough to understand the system or to play the system? Like, I don't think that any of our defenders are truly dreadful, with the possible exception of Wan-Bissaka. And
I don't like him as well. I agree.
Got an assist there today, but I think you could get any collection of defenders in the world and put them in that system, and I don't think that they would cover themselves in glory, because they're defending too much space with too little people.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, but I've been on this. I agree, Betham. I think the system and I think the coaches need to, do their thing, and they need to fix up. But we crumble. The mentality of these players are absolutely is awful. Every time we score a goal, we are crumbling. Like, you don't have to be a mystic Dora. I don't have to be a witch to predict how this game is going to end. Like, after that fumble from Onana, I already saw this isn't going to end up well. And in the end, it didn't end up well for us because we needed to win to go through.
So on a positive, after 55 minutes, what a goal. Came down the right again, didn't it? From McTominay. And he's come in and slotted it home with a lovely sort of cut back across the 6-yard box. That's a great goal again. Another great goal that we've scored. Rebel. I mean, look, McTominay, he has his critics, but he did get up there. He had the legs. He was dragging. Look, someone has to work and run back with him. They had that little former Arsenal Uruguayan player midfield trying to live with him and run with him, and he couldn't handle it. McTominay got there first. It was a great move down the right-hand side, don't you think?
Yeah, well, I have to give credit to McTominay and Maguire today, because there was definitely aspects of both their play that was worth mentioning. But I'll be honest with you, it's very hard to be positive when you feel like Bill Murray in a bootleg version of Groundhog Day, because we've been in this position before with Copenhagen. We went up 2-1, we got the third goal, and then calamity struck. We've been on this Groundhog Day cycle with managers being so slowly being pointed the finger at because players are not either understanding their system, not capable of performing the system, or whatever reason you want to attribute to it. And we seem to be perpetuating that cycle again now, this situation, because we're saying, kind of going, okay. But when you look at the list of players, the core group is the same group of players. So at some point you have to say, is it the coaching is constantly something that we're getting wrong? That we're not playing to the strengths of these players? Or is there now a reason to be saying that some footballers at our club are blagging their lives as at the contract that they're on, because it is unforgivable to lose the way that, or to concede 2 goals the way that we did to the football equivalent of the Expendables, because that's what this team is. It is cast-offs from Chelsea, Arsenal, people on semi-retirement like Icardi. Like, Manchester United Football Club is currently sitting rock bottom in a Champions League group that includes Copenhagen and Galatasaray.
Name the names.
That makes sense.
Who are the ones you think that aren't good enough?
Well, I do think that Wan-Bissaka is one of them that does need to move on. He is known for his Spider-Man type tackle, but I don't think there's a future for him at Manchester United Football Club. Lindelof, Evans, Varane, Casemiro, Martial, Anthony, Sancho. There's quite a number. It's actually, there's more names that aren't good enough anymore or don't have the hunger or heart for it than there is.
Wow. What should we do, guys? Because look, we went 3-1 up, and the manager made 2 changes after, I think it's after about 56, 57 minutes after we scored. We're 3-1 up. He's brought off Amrabat, who looked really disappointed, didn't he? He looked vexed by that. I felt he didn't do that much wrong. He was trying out there. And he brought off our striker, which a bit early. I thought usually he makes subs like 68 minutes, 70 minutes. He made it a bit earlier. And I'm thinking, okay, this is definitely at 3-1 up to secure the win. We're going to get Maney on the ball, have more possession. He's got the legs as well. And it's going to stick with Martial. We play up to him. He's going to stick and link up the play. And maybe we get more control in the game. I imagine that's what the manager was thinking. So 2 good subs, I felt. But then the game finished 3-3. End to end, it was all over the place. So shall we, because time's running on, shall we do player ratings? Or do you want to just go for some comments and touch on some questions from the comments? I'll tell you what.
Do the comments. Like the player ratings is boring.
Okay, let's do some comments here. So JR, Galatasaray have the jinx on us. We never won there. Jump in, guys, if you want to. Why didn't Ten Hag stack the midfield at 3-1? It was a donut, referring to a hole in the middle. That's what I was just talking about. Anyone want to touch on this?
I think he thought he'd won the game, to be perfectly honest, and was saving players for Newcastle. Like, Kobe and Martial are 2 of our better ball players. So you think that he gets them on to sort of keep possession of the ball and move it around and stuff. But we're also like away from home with only a 2-goal lead. So if he takes Amrabat off and puts Kobe there, I think he's got to drop McTominay deeper. And then Martial's ability to stick the ball, to keep it and to play it. You've got that extra pass like back to McTominay, who can be running onto the ball, which is one of the things he's best at, is, facing the goal. But like also you've got more defensive, solid. You're more solid in defence. So I think it's an absolute howler from the manager. Like, I think he's got everything wrong again.
And I think you have to ask the question better, and I wanted to put this one to you, was when he was substituting Garnacho, the Irish broadcaster that was covering it on the free-to-air here was perplexed that it wasn't Anthony, because he said he looked bamjaxed out there, that he'd ran his socks off and he was done.
Well, I think Anthony was having a rare good game, to be honest. And a lot of that was because, as I said before, it was the movement in the channel. Like McTominay's goal, he just runs in between the centre back and the full back. It gives Anthony more time and space. Like Anthony was all right tonight, but I think that Garnacho probably was fading.
Agreed.
And on another day, people might say if it's a masterstroke if Palestri can do anything with the copious amount of chances that he had. But the thing is that Anthony's good defensively, but in hindsight, it's a poor decision. But I don't think that Anthony did anything to warrant being taken off, and they'll be aware of his fitness levels. I was more surprised Luke Shaw stayed on, to be honest. I felt that he was the one player that looked like he was proper blowing out there.
Guys, I disagree with a lot of what you guys are saying. Big T saying here, after the match, Ten Hag was happy with the performance. Box is saying, does Eric Ten Hag coach during the game, or does he just watch like a fan? JR saying here, we can't defend. We need Martinez back. Plus, Ten Hag needs to kiss and make up with Varane, whatever's going on there. There was a question about that. We deserve better saying, I saw Maguire, Lindelof, and Shaw on the team sheet. There's proof we haven't progressed defensively. Spot on. Amrabat is so poor from Tyrone Williams. I think that's what you were going on about, Dora. If the players are poor, the coaching must be poor. How did players do on international duty? That's for GG. Coming back to Patrick, he's saying elephant in the room. Whatever issues behind the scenes, should Varane not be starting a game like this? He's asking the question. Varane, what's going on with Varane? Why is he not playing? Anyone want to jump in before I move on?
I thought the centre backs were all right tonight. Lindelof won a lot of headers, and I thought Maguire played well. He cleared off the line. Yes,
I thought Maguire was immense. I thought he was fantastic.
I'd have said that at 3-1, I was thinking about man of the match. I was thinking it's probably Maguire because he's in a sort of deeper position defending his box. He's done really well. He's got the ball out well, and the majority of the I don't think the defence, apart from Wan-Bissaka, were that poor tonight.
What's wrong with Wan-Bissaka?
He wasn't narrow enough. He was too far out, and he invited a massive space to attack between him and Maguire. And I felt that in the second half, he put huge pressure on us by not being able to clear his lines correctly.
I think it's harsh.
I don't think it is, because the two things that he's good at is bringing the ball out of defence, which he was poor at tonight, and taking on players in wide areas. And he didn't need to he didn't need to win any duels out wide, because Zaha wasn't in the game, because the tactics were to try and stretch United's back four. So I felt that Wan-Bissaka got sucked into that trap, and I think that the defence played well because they had no protection in front of them from the midfield. And I'm not a fan of Lindelof. But I felt that was one of the better games I've seen from him tonight. I felt both of them dominated their duels. They didn't really make any sort of mistakes as far as that I could see, and I felt it was a lack of protection for from the midfield in front of them.
Okay, couple more before we come. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Rebel, you want to ask something?
I just spotted a comment about post-match comments, and some of them were kind of perplexing and even confusing to hear, because given what had transpired. We had Ten Hag talking about how pleased he was with the style of play, being proactive, dynamic, and brave, and he was pleased with the performance because they created so many chances. We had Owen Hargreaves saying United scored 3 goals in Munich, lost 3 goals in Copenhagen, lost 3 goals tonight, and didn't win. If you said that they scored that amount of goals before Champions League, you and still in being in the position they are, you wouldn't believe it, because they're making so many mistakes. Bruno Fernandes saying that they have to control games. No, stating the obvious, really, wasn't he? And even talking about Onana, he's saying Andre is okay. As I said, it's not about individuals. Of course, individual errors in football can make a difference, but you have to take responsibility for it. Is that even suggesting maybe that he's saying that players aren't taking responsibility for their errors out on the pitch? Talking about satisfaction with the performance when you're pretty much actually after the Munich result there now, they've actually drawn with Copenhagen. The only result that keeps Manchester United in Champions League football now is a draw in that Copenhagen Galatasaray game, and we have to beat Bayern Munich. So for all intents and purposes, tonight Manchester United Football Club have exited the Champions League.
No, we're still in. Believe, Rebel. Believe. I don't know why you'd believe. I think that when Ten Hag is talking about players taking responsibility, is something that me and OMONDI talk about a lot with our dislike of the academy system, is that Bruno can bang on about trying to control a game and stuff, but I believe that top players go out and solve problems on the pitch. And I think that one of Bruno or McTominay should have dropped deeper, and Anthony should have come inside. Yeah. And the other part of that is Ten Hag's obsession with playing Bruno on the right wing started last season to see out games. where we'd get another central midfielder in, and Bruno would sort of be playing like more inside than outside, and it would compress the centre of the pitch. It would mean we had more structure there. And I feel that really the substitution that should have been made is that Anthony to go to left wing, Bruno to go to right wing, and Ericsson or someone of his ilk, I can't remember who was on the bench, to come on. Maybe Mainu to come on and keep Amrabat, and then play Martial and McTominay as the sort of the strikers to see the game out with more protection in the centre of the pitch. And for Ten Hag to say that, you know, like that we need more responsibility and stuff like that, I've got real questions now about Bruno as captain, because tonight we were so over emotional in the last 10 minutes. It was like everything was sort of do or die. There was no composure. And I think Bruno was at the heart of that, like berating players around him. He was shouting at Martial and Palestri and things like that, like squad players. I think that we needed someone like Ericsson. We needed a cooler head in there tonight, and we would have come away with a dicey win, in my opinion.
Can I ask you a question then? Given that Champions League Varane was on the bench and we were 3-1 up, would the option have been to put in a third centre-back and have Shaw exclusively play in that covering role to give more protection and actually just stink out the game?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think that the problem was that they were attacking like central areas. It was that they were attacking the channel. And I don't. And so if Maguire was to go central and Varane at right centre back and Lindelof at left centre back, I don't think that Varane and Lindelof are that good at protecting the channel. In particular, I think it would be much more beneficial to have got two men in front of them and like tracking the runners.
Yeah, that's I'm with that. I mean, Dora, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think the way we should have seen the game out was Kobe Mainu. Remember against Spurs bath time, and when we played Spurs, Dora, in the second half, they made a little adjustment. They put Maddison on Casemiro and dragged him out, so there was absolutely no midfield. And that's what happened, I think, with Kobe today. He was probably said, sit around Mertens and sit with him. And there's no one else around him. There's too much of a gap. So there's virtually no midfield in there. But I thought that the issue should be, you take responsibility, be proactive. Someone like McTominay maybe should have said, right, we're 3-1 up. Let me just sit back a bit. Don't have to bomb forward so much. Let's just protect what we got here.
Exactly.
Even if the manager's demanding something else. And that's about the players taking responsibility on the pitch, even though the manager might be saying, this is not my philosophy, or whatever he says in Dutch. Dora, do you agree that the players sometimes have to take responsibility? Bath time's dissing the captain, Bruno. I disagree with Bath time there. But do you agree that we should have just sat back a little bit at 3-1, at 2-0, and manage the game out and see it out? Where are we going wrong? What is it? Is it a mental thing? Is it a tactics thing that we just can't seem to hold on to a lead?
Sorry. I mean, the easiest answer for this is the mixture of everything, right? It's obvious that we are making the same mistakes every time, every single or most of the games this season when it comes to defense. I'm seeing the same mistakes. As Beth I mentioned before, it doesn't matter if it's Martinez, Varane, or Casemiro, or Amrabat, Maguire, and Lindelof. It doesn't matter because it's always the same issue. However, I also think that the mentality has been a huge problem for this club, for this squad of players. I think that every time, I didn't watch the Everton game, but I watched the highlights. I researched and all that, and I saw the post game statements. And Ten Hag said himself that he noticed that after Garnacho scored that banger, that the players started being complacent. They didn't follow the gameplay. Everton had more chances. They started playing. They had some dangerous chances in the first half after that goal. And at halftime, he berated the players and motivated them or whatever. He yelled at them. I don't care what he did. Like he berated them and told them that, they are giving up. They need to, be more ruthless. So they are in the hostile environment, or not hostile environment, but, they are against a team that, is motivated, and that we are going to, essentially drop our lead because we are not playing at 100%. And to me, that was a concern. Like, what motivation do you need? What motivation do you need? So you have our fans on your back, you have rival fans on your back, you have journalists, you have pundits, you have, whoever, whole world is on your back because you're playing poorly, you're not good enough. People are saying that you're not good enough, that you're mercenaries, they're calling you names. And that's not a good enough motivation for you to, to finish up the game. And, of course, in the end, we scored 2 more goals. We won 3-0. But why is this Champions League, game different? It shouldn't be. Like, we are in a hostile environment. We need to win to go through in the Champions League. So what motivation do you need? I agree that the system is a problem. However, we also need to realize that these squad of players that do not have the mentality to win, in my opinion. The only trophy that we will win is the goal of the season. That's all we're going to win this season. I don't even know that we are going to be in top 6 in the end. Like, the way we play, it's not sustainable. Some of the players are just not good enough, and yeah, it is what it is.
Guys, don't forget there's a poll going on right now. Put your votes in. There's 17 watching. Vote. We're asking the question about De Gea, and we're asking about the squad as well. Is there 2 polls in there, Rebel?
There's one poll running as an active poll, and then the other one is just a question within the group chat, because we can only have one active poll at a time. So vote yes or no on the poll, and how many 1 to 24 of the current 24-man squad are you unhappy with? Just comment the number in the chat for us, and we will get the results at the end of the show.
Yeah, which is coming up very soon, so get your votes in as soon as possible. Harry David say here, not Ten Hag's fault. 2 soft free kicks went in. Without that, we win comfortably. I back them, Onana, but he was solely responsible for the loss today. There you go. Wow. I just want to say this, because I haven't had the opportunity to say much. I think Kobe Mainoo, brilliant player. Player. See him on the pitch today, what he did, calmed it down nice and easy when he came on. And I can't blame him for the goal, because I think obviously the runner came through. He went with the runner. First touch of the runner was good, and he just drove it into the near post, which the goalkeeper should cover. He should cover his post and be watching the play as well. I can't believe he let that in. That to me is like bad positioning. But Kobe was a positive for me. But most of all, I think Harry Maguire was, like I said before, he was immense. I know, Dora, you talk about defence as a unit and maybe not doing so well. But I don't think, I'm looking at it and saying Harry Maguire was the leader out there. He was the guy winning all the headers. He was bringing the ball out, calming things down. His distribution was good. He had interception, which blocking the shot as well. When he's playing 1-2s, to get forward and driving forward as well. The guy was magnificent, and I think that's true defending. I love to see that. This is what defenders are supposed to do, not only be good on the ground, which he's good at, but defend as well and win your headers and command things. Anyone watching that game, any of those Galatasaray fans watching, anyone watching Championship football around that game who really enjoyed the game would say that's a good bloody defender, in my opinion. Harry Maguire was the best player on the pitch for me. Can
we just say hello to Flex as well, just briefly? Sorry.
Big up Flex, Felix said, scored 3 goals in Munich, Copenhagen, and Istanbul, and we're still going out. Poor mentality. So he's saying some mentality there. We still rage on. But how are we looking with the poll results? I hope you're getting your putting your answers in. This is what they say my name here. Not seeing this on Monday. Thought Harry was poor. Fair enough. Where are we at with the poll results?
I think Bathtim wanted to make a point there before we get
to that. I wanted to ask Omondi what he thought about the tactics, because you've asked quite a lot, but we haven't heard your input. Go on.
So the
Tell me about
tactics
subs
to me,
and things.
What was highlighted to me, I thought the tactics are good because we created a lot of opportunities. We should have finished with Bruno shot in the post. Pelestri had some good chances. I'm pleased because we're creating more down the right. The goal from McTominay, that was good. Garnacho's goal was good. We're creating stuff, and we're getting numbers in the box. remember Fergie's time. It's about getting numbers in the box when we are creating those chances. And then, so you have to have runners, people who are fit. Bruno is super fit. I respect that guy. He gets up and down. And I come back at you at halftime. I think he's a quality captain for us because he shows the desire and the fitness and the belief. He's the leader out there. He's the one who sets things up. But regarding the tactics today, I felt, like you said, like I was saying earlier, I felt when we're in a position, it's about the game management. When in position, right, starting with that deep line midfielder and 2 8s ahead of him, that works. But when we go 2-0 up, then you say to yourself, as a player, I would do it naturally. Come sit back, man. Just sit back a little bit. Just drop 5, you know. So you're not having to run after the ball. You're not getting ahead of the play. And that's what I felt was happening. And these are how transitions happen. Those transitions wouldn't happen if you turn around, you're trying to drive at us, and there's people in front of you. So I would have had McTominay or Bruno just sitting up a bit deeper, like you said, while we're 2 goals up, whether it's 2-0, 3-1, and just protecting what we had. Like you said, when we were 2-0 up, it was a transition. Bruno was running back. He was ahead of the play. That's why we got caught out. Or you blame
Amrabat, yeah.
Yeah, you blame. I'm saying, yeah, you blame Amrabat, but Bruno was also having to track back, and it was a soft foul, regardless.
But those are the tactics, Omondi. Is that Amrabat and Kobe were left to cover too much ground in the center of the midfield. We don't have McFred anymore.
So I'm saying tweak it and bring even look, if you're a leader, you're playing your Amrabat or your Kobe, you're gonna say, bruv, come back 10 yards, drop 10, come on, help me out here. That's what should happen. Regardless of what the manager says all through the briefings throughout the whole week, that's what should happen, because you have to say, bruv, let's be proactive out here. Just drop off a little bit, man. I need a bit of protection. Or I'm getting dragged out. Yeah, but just come in and cover my space. That's what
you've just said that like Bruno is like a good captain or something. He's the guy with the authority on the pitch to say that. Do you think that like what do you mean no? You're saying
I'm saying no because I'm saying Kobe or Amrabat needs to be responsible. If you know you're getting dragged out and you're isolated, you should be saying to them, man, drop 5 for me or drop 10. These guys are under instruction. Yeah, this might be so. If I'm a defender and I can see the whole game and I see a problem at fullback or someone or Anthony coming back, I say, look, just drop 5 here, double up on this guy and help me out so I don't get dragged out of position. That's communication. It doesn't have to just come from Bruno. That's why I'm saying no. It doesn't have to come from Bruno. That's my point. So regarding tactics, I felt that we should have at 2-0 and at 3-1 drop off a little bit and just make it hard to play against, make us more compact and make us hard to beat in that respect. So it's not being negative. Newcastle done it for almost 45 minutes against a great side like Paris Saint-Germain yesterday with 11 men on the pitch. They didn't want to make the subs. They had their best team on the pitch. They were knackered. They were running, but they created enough compactness to prevent them from really opening them up until that stupid penalty. That's what we should have done.
Let's move on to the poll.
Yeah, let's go to the poll.
Right, there's a couple of interesting things that are coming out of the poll and the comments, but I will preface it with there's videos now surfacing on social media of an extremely frustrated Andre Onana slamming his goalkeeper gloves to the ground at full time and looking very distraught at his performance. So it seems like he's owning the fact that he messed up. And David De Gea is currently trending on Twitter, just so you know. And 54% of our votees in the chat have said that they would not welcome David De Gea back. And as far as the squad goes, to quote Ralph Rangnick, our chat seems to think that we need open heart surgery.
There you go. Guys, thanks again. Obviously, it's a disappointing result, but obviously, what's the story now? Going into the next game, with the result at Bayern Munich, we need to win against Bayern Munich at home and hope that Copenhagen draw with Galatasaray at home. Is that the one?
So what we need is the draw and the win.
Okay. Well, it's not mathematically over, but I can't. It's not looking promising, is it? But anyway, we move on. Don't forget, we'll be doing shows later in the week. It's now Wednesday, so tomorrow and Friday we'll be building up to the Newcastle game, and they feel like they had a bit of injustice with the penalty. We got to go to St. James's Park, and they're a bit they're struggling at the moment, aren't they, with injuries and everything else. They didn't want to bring a sub on the other day, so that's going to be a big game as well. And there's going to be plenty of big games coming up. So join us on the Man United agenda. Big up, Dora. Welcome back. Hope you get to full fitness, get your health back. Big
Yes,
up to
thank
Rebel, big up to Bath Time, and big up to every one of you out there who's come and joined us today and pressed the like button, joined the poll, and attacked our players. Because we got to voice your opinions as fans here on the Man United agenda. But quickly, man of the match. Is it a bit disrespectful to talk about a man of the match?
Yeah,
Someone who performed really well is disrespectful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not tonight, Zach. Not tonight. All right, so we're signing out. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow, 9:00. Mr. B will be back as well. Well done, Mr. B, with the watch along, by the way. That was brilliant. And we'll be doing a preview for Newcastle. That's what's next. From us, we're signing out. Good night.